Hi there, this is Ruben and welcome to the Samplecast episode 16. This is the YouTube show, of course. If you'd like to check out more information on the products, please head over to the Samplecast podcast. It's available on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, all good podcasting platforms. You can have a look at the link just there. The show's a little bit shorter this week, but there's still plenty of content, plus a sample library that I've reviewed that I absolutely loved. So let's get on with the show. First up in this week's Roundup, it's Hybrid Fluids Injection by The Last Haven. Now, I interviewed the guys from The Last Haven in Samplecast episode 8. You can hear that on the podcast. This particular library is a upgrade in some ways, but has all new content, and it runs in the full version of Kontakt. It's 5GB in size, and it's perfect for cinematic scoring, but focused on hard, gritty, nasty, kind of fuzzy sounds. You've got both tonal instruments and one-shot effects and textures here, and the FX interface has many options and some great randomization effects too. They sent me this library for a play. I was really impressed, especially by the sheer raw power of the sounds that you can get out of it. They really cut through a mix. There's also a new Hybrid Fluids bundle coming soon from The Last Haven, so check the website and look out for that. 8DO continues to update their Blendstrument series. The next one is Alive Percussion, that's out now. It's another in their series of interesting hybrid morphing instruments, so I'm not going to go into this in too much detail as I reviewed their Hybrid Pulses variation in Samplecast 10, so you can watch that to get an idea of the engine behind this release. The difference here is that in this new release there's pitched and non-pitched percussion samples, which have been thrown into the engine with the same randomization options. I was pretty impressed by Blendstrument Hybrid Pulses, and Alive Percussion looks to be more of the same. Have a look on the 8DO website for that. A crazy instrument to finish with, it's Strained Wire and Garotte by Modwheel. Runs in the full version of Kontakt, and there's 51 patches here in total. Now, this instrument has been created by sampling a strained 4-metre long wire over a soundboard and bridge, and it's been abused with bows, mallets and other implements. Here you've got atmospheres, bowed, plucked and wire effects, and it's suitable for everything from creating kind of guitar tones to zither-like tones to full-on horror and suspense scoring as well. One thing I would say is you have to check out Modwheel's walkthrough video, as the two Kiwi guys there that are behind the company are absolutely hilarious. It's worth a watch just for that.
Right, the Garotte section. This is where things get dark.
What is a Garotte?
A Garotte is...
Do you play the Garotte?
I play the Garotte.
Do you?
Yes, I do. The Garotte...
Is it hard?
It is if you're caught. If they see you coming from behind, you can get in big trouble. They don't like it if they think, what the hell are you going to do? What?
It's all right. It's just my Garotte.
There's a cool competition at the moment running until the 24th of July. This is from Matt Bowdler, aka The Unfinished, in conjunction with Rekkerd. And he's really well known for his synth presets. They've got a lot of love from various composers over the years. And this is a composing competition. Basically, he's produced 20 sounds for each of the following synths: Bazille, Diva, Podolsky, Tyrell N6, Zebra 2 and Zebralet. So you can download that free pack from rekkerd.org, check the description below, and use them to create your own tunes. Submit that tune and you could be a winner. Basically you can win a lot of synth bundles from him and licenses for Uhi or Yuhi. Someone please tell me how to pronounce that. So the best thing to do would be to check it out on the Rekkerd website. All the T's and C's are there. Even if you don't win the competition, you've still got some nice free patches for your synths too. In the podcast this week there's a sample Shootout, and this week it's harps. I've taken all the harps from my collection that I can get my hands on, run them through the same piece of MIDI, and the results you can hear for yourself on the Samplecast podcast. This week's big review is for Gravity by Heavyocity, and it's called Scoring Guitars. It's Gravity Pack 3, runs in the full version of Kontakt and the Kontakt player as well. It's over 4GB in size and is also compatible with complete controller hardware. I want to make this absolutely clear at the outset of the review that you do not need the full version of Gravity from Heavyocity to play this. This is a completely standalone pack and you can purchase it completely separately and run it in Kontakt Player and the full version of Kontakt. Scoring guitars consists of 4 main sources. You've got ambient beds and drones, melodic pulses and phrases, pads, and lastly a performance palette, which these patches here are basically combinations of the pads, pulses and phrases mapped across the keyboard for easy playing. So let's talk about the raw sounds here before we get into the engine itself. To be honest, they are great. Atmospheric pads you've got here, the drones are absolutely brilliant, there's highly usable beds as well, and the absolute standout for me were the detailed guitar phrases and pulses. The phrases and pulses have been recorded in A minor and E minor, but they can easily be transposed within the engine itself via key switches just at the bottom, and I absolutely love these. You can literally just play them across the keyboard and you've got instant moody kind of documentary underscore music. There's a huge amount of variety too there, with samples being played in forward and reverse and a combination of the two, and this is even before you get into the Gravity engine. So let's get onto that engine. There is a ridiculous amount of sequencing, LFO and effects options within that Gravity engine. Also, it looks absolutely gorgeous. I can't possibly go into all the variations here, but if you've already played with any of the Gravity packs or Gravity itself, then you'll know what it's all about. The motion controls here are my favourite, and Heavyocity have provided loads of motion presets easily loadable from within the interface. By simply pressing a key switch you can introduce motion to scoring guitars, which gives a kind of stuttering, pulsing, either very subtle or very obvious effect depending on how you program it. So the highlights of this library for me, firstly the interface. It does look amazing, it's really inspiring, all the controls are right there, it's really obvious what everything does. The sound, spectacular. The flexibility that you have within the sounds that are already there is also absolutely phenomenal. The variety of patches with options for soloing the elements both within the interface and via individual NKI patches is also to be commended. I really like the performance palettes. You can just load them and play them for a variety of effects across the keyboard, and there's randomization options everywhere within the interface. You know how much I love randomization. There's really an awful lot of variety here for your money. Speaking of money, the price is very competitive for this kind of library, considering the content and flexibility on offer. There's only one thing I could really think to improve about the library, and it's a really small thing, is that the phrases and pulses have been recorded only in minor keys, so you've got A minor and E minor, but this limits the possibilities for writing full-on songs where you might need major chords. Not a big deal for documentary writing and composing, a lot of those tracks I'll be writing are in minor keys anyway, but the scope could be a little broader there. If I were giving out scores in this show, I can guarantee that this would get a 10 out of 10. It really is that good. It's the sort of instrument that I could sit down and play for a few hours and come up with endless combinations, inspiring and useful in equal measure. Can't recommend it highly enough. Check it out at the Heavyocity website. Thank you so much for watching this week's Samplecast. For more information on the show, check out the website, thesamplecast.com. You can email me directly at thesamplecast@gmail.com. You can reach me on Twitter, you can reach me on Facebook. Head over to the podcast show where you can hear the full sample shootout. This week it's Harps. And until next week, bye bye now.